Hi, everyone, and welcome to my live. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there making a difference in their families' lives. Oh, my goodness, y'all. I am out here celebrating Father's Day with my father, and we just had a wonderful dinner. And we were not at a restaurant that was oceanside this time. Typically, we are, but I was trying to take them to a place where I thought they had lamb chops, and they just stopped selling lamb chops 2 weeks ago. Can you believe it? And so it was still a really, really nice dinner. And I said, there's just no way we could be this close to the ocean and to the water and not come out to it. So we were driving around so that I could find a park where I could park and he could be on, be able to stay in the car, but yet still see the water. And I just wanted to come out here with you all. I'm on day 77 of going live every day for the 90-day challenge. And thank you all for rocking with my channel and being here for my content. I see Jaden Suh is in the building. Hello to you. And again, to everyone, I hope that you had an enjoyable Father's Day with your dad, in memory of your dad. Or if you are a dad, I hope you were celebrated. I see Slasher Chick is in the building. Yes, and listen, usually there is this oceanfront restaurant that I bring him to, and the last time we came, he said, I really have a taste for lamb chops. I haven't had really good lamb chops in a long time. And I said, I know there has to be a place down here that has, really good lamb chops. And in case you're wondering, we are in Virginia Beach right now. And so I looked, I looked on the menu and everything. I met my dad for church this morning, and it's been a long day for me. Let's put it that way, but it's been worth it. So I met him for church, and I had looked around for the past week for restaurants with lamb chops, and there were a couple that I really am interested in going to, but they didn't start serving dinner until 5 p.m. And I wanted to already at least be on appetizers by 5 p.m. I thought that was going to be a little too late. And I saw this one restaurant and I was kind of familiar with it. So I was like, yeah, they have lamb chops. They look good. They got really good reviews. And so I was excited. And while we were waiting for our table, and I said, well, let's look at the menu, Dad, and see, all the things we want, the sides and everything. And we did that. And the lamb chops were still on the menu. So when we got in and got our seats and sat down and I opened up the menu, they had this new item. And it was like it had a little yellow sticker, not sticker, but little sign next to it saying new item. And I didn't see the lamb chops. So I said, man, please don't tell me this new item is taking the place of the lamb chops. But I still asked our waiter if they had lamb chops because sometimes they may take something off the menu, but if you ask for it, they will have it. That's like there's this one restaurant in particular I like, and they used to have pork chop Marcella, and they took that off the menu, but they still had pork chops and they still had chicken Marcella. So when I would go, I would always ask, "Can you make pork chop Marcella?" And they always would on, if only if it was requested. So I was just hopeful that, you know, this place would sell would still have some lamb chops somewhere that they would sell and make, and it was just only by request. But the waiter said no, they just took it off the menu 2 weeks ago. I guess not enough people requested it. And so we had to kind of readjust our taste buds and get something else. The food was so delicious. And I am so full, so I do kind of low key need this walk. And again, I said, Dad, we can't be this close to the water and not come down to it. So here we are. And I know he's enjoying his view as well. And let me see. Yes, honoring the dads you love and getting your stream done, right? Listen, I'm trying to do double time with this. And I know that my husband and my kids are having a good Father's Day together too. And it's just my daughter, my one daughter is not home. She's still in another state, but she'll be home this weekend for the weekend for my daughter's birthday, my other daughter's birthday. I have so much going on. I'm telling you, when I tell people I'll be good by mid-July, end of July, mid-July, they always think I'm playing. And I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. That's when my calendar will start to free up a little bit. And even then, I still have a lot going on. So, but it's a beautiful day. There's a nice breeze. You can see that flag moving. There's a nice breeze from the water. And I wish I could go all the way to the ocean. This is the bay. There's a lot of people fishing here. And I just needed the energy from this water. I have a lot going on this week, and water gives me so much life. I'm telling you, if I lived an hour from the ocean, I live close to water, but it's lakes. But if I lived close to ocean, like an hour, I'd be there every day. I really would, for sure. Definitely. Oh, let me tell you, the pork chop marsala, it's a whole different, that marsala sauce with the mushrooms, it just takes the pork chop to another level. It really does. I can't really eat pork chops without it now. It's so delicious, so yummy. Yeah. And you put it with some rice, some broccoli, or asparagus, and it's just delicious. But Father's Day is an important day, not just today, but I think it's important to honor the men in your life every day. Men are a very important aspect to who we are as a community, and they, in a lot of times, in a lot of ways, are minimized. And when we talk about intergenerational mobility, that's different than economic mobility. It's going off of the generational challenges and the generational successes that a family may or may not have. And a lot of it depends on how well the males are doing in that family. I know there was a study done by a group from UC Berkeley and Harvard several years ago, and they went to 50 major cities to do some research on how they were thriving. How were they doing with their economics, with intergenerational mobility, with education, transportation, housing. And even though 100 people moved to Charlotte every day, at the time of that study, and this was before 2016, but at the time of that study, Charlotte ranked 50 out of 50. And it was because of the lack of intergenerational mobility. And they were saying that a child born in poverty in Charlotte had a greater chance of staying in poverty. And so studies had shown it's a correlation between the father or father figure in children's lives and what they're doing, their projection of success or not, that determines that of the child. And of course, there's people that have overcome that. I mean, absolutely. But, when we talk about the movement of things, the confidence of things, just how things evolve, the man plays a integral part. And unfortunately, I see Sassy's in the building. How are you, Sassy? Good to see you. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday. And for my people, I'm talking about Black people in particular, you know, the males in our households have been um, minimized, and that had a lot to do with slavery, and the has a lot to do with what they were empowered to do or not to do. Whatever, they didn't have any power in the households during slavery, when the master of the plantation was able to still go in and take advantage of their women, where they could be sold off, where their women could be sold off, their children could be sold off, and there was nothing they could do. And that's demasculating them. And that's why I always love to have men on my teams, because there's so many great people, period, but men too, that aren't given as many chances in certain occupations. And sometimes when they are, there's so many people that are trying to take, I call it taking their man away, by making them feel lesser than, and, just not really building them up. Now, I don't have a high tolerance for weak men for sure, but, I feel like every man, given the best situation, has an opportunity to be a strong leader. I believe they're all born to be strong leaders. I believe we all are born to be strong leaders. So it's a matter of how it's massaged and groomed. I see Jessica Hicks is in the building. And Jessica, I know your birthday was a few weeks ago, but I hope you had a great birthday. And I don't know if you celebrate all month long or not, but thank you all for being here. Yes. So I want you all to consider intergenerational mobility and, the opportunities that we're giving to men, especially, and how our men, how we need to make them be men. Pull up your pants, put a belt on, tuck in your shirt, hold your head high, walk in a straight line, say hello, have a strong handshake, have integrity, say what you're going to say and mean it and do it. It starts with that too. Being authentic, not trying to be like anyone but yourself as a man. Standing on 10 toes that you are strong and capable, and that what you say you can do and will do, that you really can do it. Skill yourself up as men, please. We need you. We need you to be strong and great role models. Just being present is great, but you need to be that role model. Do things that you are going to be remembered for. And I know I had done a video about that, you know, living your life how you want to be remembered. And so if you are a man, and if you are a woman, but I'm speaking to men now because it's Father's Day. But if you are a man, live your life how you want to be remembered. Live your life how you want your children to live. Walk how you want them to walk. Walk that walk that you're trying to talk. It's more than just, oh, because I said so, or this is what I want for you. What do you want for you is important too. That's just as important as what you want for your family, your children. Be that example that you would not mind them also copying. You want them to copy the right cat and let that cat be you. So do the right thing. Let's see. You are still celebrating? All right, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Listen, as fast as these months are trying to get away, I'm low key celebrating my birthday right now, and it's in October because it's almost October. Feels like anyway, but it's so beautiful here. Virginia Beach is kind of like a best kept secret, you know, on the East Coast, and it's not as crowded right now, and I think that's because all the schools aren't out yet here, especially up north. The schools won't be out until the end of June. So it's not as crowded. Again, I think the temperature is about 81 degrees, but it has a nice breeze and it's just a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm sure my dad is probably asleep in the car and I have the windows down, so I hope he's good. I asked him, was he going to be good? And he said yes. So today at church, his best friend got honored for being the oldest man in the church. His best friend is 90 years old. My dad is 86. And I was happy to be there to see his friend receive that. My father's the second oldest in the church. And yeah, it was really nice. Let's look at this artwork that they have in this overpass. Well, under the overpass anyway. I know a lot of communities. You okay, Dad? Okay. Um, a lot of communities are beautifying places that are like this, that have a bridge overhead. They're putting artwork, they're putting green infrastructure down, so it's more beautifying for the area and it's sustainable, doesn't Doesn't require a lot of attention, but it still looks good no matter what. I don't know how these people. Oh, okay, I see where they got came. But this is beautiful. They should do it to all of the steel, or I don't know if they call them steel beams, or maybe they are, and this is as far as they got so far. But this looks really nice. Yeah, people are people are fishing. It seems like a lot is going on all around me right now. I have, a highway, people fishing, people sitting in a car, then across the street is the beach. There's hotels. It's a lot going on. This is the marina, so the yachts and the boats are here. They're coming in for the evening. The sun is setting. You can't eat what comes out of the Delaware River? Was there a spillage or something? What's going on? I want to see if this is paint or something else. Oh, it's paint. Okay, it's very nice. I love that my dad is down for whatever. He's cool. That's my dude in real life. I always enjoy him. You don't recommend it? I wonder what kind of fish. What kind of fish are you catching? Oh, crabs? Blue crabs? Oh, huh. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is a beautiful day. I just wish I had more time to spend, but I always tell my dad it's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. And making every moment count. So, Slasher Chick, as you can see, yes, I'm getting my day 77 in, giving you all another look. But I am definitely going to have some more beach videos over the summer. I'm planning on going to the beach in July a couple of times, probably. I'm gonna come back here for a few nights and bring my dad. He really likes the ocean too and the water. And I remember not too long ago when my kids were younger. Now, mind you, my dad is 86. So maybe when he was in his late 60s and he started doing the boogie board, and it was the funniest thing ever. Like, it was so hilarious. He would always come up out the water without it, and it would be somewhere else in the ocean, like drifting away. And his best friend, who's 90, my dad brought him to the beach for his first time when he was probably maybe in his late 70s, early 80s. And my father was like, yeah, he loved that what's it called? The pool at the hotel. He just kept getting in the inner tube and just floating around. What is it called? The lazy river pool. They had that in their hotel. And so his best friend really enjoyed that, and that's where he was hanging out. They make me laugh. I said, Dad, do you want to go see the OJs? You want to go with me to Maryland to see the OJs? And he was like, no, I want to see Tina Turner's review. I don't want to see the OJs. He said, I like blues. I know you like blues, but I thought you might like the OJs because, the lead singer's like 82 years old. And my dad was looking at me, he was like, why would I want to see an 82-year-old man singing? No, I want to see Tina Turner review. Now, if you find out where that's playing, I'll go with you to that. But I'm not trying to see the OJs. I was like, okay. That was funny to me. And I think that's kind of how it was, men in his age group. They didn't really they listened to that music, but they wasn't into it in terms of who was the singers and all that. They were more into like the women groups and the women that were singing, which makes sense. But and I guess that's kind of how it is now. I wouldn't like my husband wouldn't come with me to a New Edition concert. That just wouldn't be his thing. So that's what I'm saying, Slasher Chick. I didn't know you catch blue crabs with poles, but what type of fish are you catching? Oh, oh, okay. So he's catching sea bass. Okay. It's not biting right now. They're not biting right now. Hmm. Yeah, they're crabbing with poles in the deep water. That's interesting. I do too. I love a good lazy river. Absolutely. So, you all, I'm just enjoying this moment because once I leave here, it's going to be on and popping. I actually am making my way back to Charlotte this evening because there's just so much going on between tomorrow and Tuesday, and I have to be present. I don't have to be because hell, if something was to happen, I wouldn't be there. Then what? It would still go on, right? But it's some things that are important for me to accomplish and to be there for it. So I'm gonna try to just take this all in and let it relax my soul enough so that I can have that extra energy to push through these next couple of days and get what I need to get done for sure. Slasher chick, you are hilarious. You have so many follow-up questions for clarification. Because look, he was right here and they are right there. So are we in two different bodies of water or what? Like, what's really going on? Where am I? Where am I? And I hope you had a good time at the reggae festival last night too. I was thinking about you. I said, I know Slasher Chick is having a good time, letting your hair down and just singing and dancing. I know it. I would have loved it. Did they serve rum punch? I'm sure they did. Ooh, some pina coladas. Oh my goodness. I had a mocktail pina colada, but it wasn't called a pina colada. It was something else. I'm really into mocktails only because I have to be. But I've been finding some really beautiful, like, do you drink this or do you like put it in a frame? Because this is beautiful. I've been seeing some beautiful mixed drinks, and I appreciate the bartenders putting that extra effort in mocktails just as much as they do the alcoholic versions. It was a time. I bet it was. Oh my goodness. Reggae is something special. Definitely is. I love it. It always puts me in the mind frame of the Caribbean and just having a good time. And then you wake up and you're not in Jamaica or the Bahamas or Bermuda or Aruba or any of those wonderful places. I'm surprised I don't hear music right now. Like the people that are fishing, I would have my music blasting. I really would. But I'm just trying to hang on here for another 8 minutes to give myself to 30, even though, 30 really wasn't part of the equation necessarily. But I have noticed that that's pretty much our threshold, at least 30. These are some beautiful yachts. So we went on our honeymoon. We were on um, a 3 day, 2 night yacht cruise as well, my husband and I. And it was just us, the skipper and the cook. And I loved it. Oh my goodness. And I didn't realize that my husband gets seasick or motion sickness. And we was our first morning. We had our first night and that next morning, and we just had a wonderful breakfast. The cook was phenomenal. And we were sitting up on deck and I had my legs up. We were on the like the bench, and my husband's back was against the rail, but he was sitting next to me and I was leaning on his shoulder and he was tapping me. And I was thinking, he was just also loving this scenery and everything. My eyes were closed. I was just chilling. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's so beautiful. I know. And he kept tapping me. And then next thing I know, he tapped, and then pushed me forward and went over my back and threw up over the side of the boat. I was like, wait. And so my head was down like by my knees. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, oh. Like I just couldn't take it anymore. And I'm very adventurous. And my husband, back then especially, was the type that would try everything once. And I would always be so giddy, like on roller coasters or just anything. And he would just look at me and try to keep it together because he didn't want to seem like he couldn't handle it. And then he would do it that one time, and I would, of course, want to do it over and over. And he would just be like, I'll sit over here and just hold the purse, hold your purse. But for the yacht, he was telling me how the day before, when I was walking up to the edge, like to the tip, what's it called? The front of the yacht. And I was standing there as if I was on the Titanic or something, arms stretched out, just right there on the edge. And he said he almost lost it, like he almost passed out seeing me. And mind you, my husband is 6'6", over 300 pounds. So he's like, I gotta keep it together. Like, wait. So that was my first time noticing, like, oh, okay, you don't do well with things like this. But he stuck it out. I mean, we were diving off the side of the yacht. The skipper also had a rowboat. So when we went to two other islands, Mystique and Beckway, and he would row us to the island. There was so many private beaches. It was wonderful. I never saw another couple, another vacationer or anything, not even on the island we were having our honeymoon, which was called Young Island. It was about 35 acres, only 11 cottages on the entire island. And so we never saw other people, just the people that worked there. And it was really, really nice. That's exactly how I wanted it. I was like, I don't want to see any kids, on the honeymoon. No, I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone but my husband. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. So I was really glad about that. He was only on there because of me. Listen, because we live near NASCAR, Lowe's Motor Speedway, there's a lot of really great places that you can do, like simulated NASCAR driving. And I remember his first time doing it, first and last time doing it. And when you do a simulated drive, you're not going anywhere. It's just a screen. You're in a car, that a seat. It was like a car, like a shell of a car, but the seat inside and everything inside did look like a NASCAR race car. But it wasn't like it was moving. There was a big screen that moved. When I tell you he was soaking wet when he came off of that ride, well, that simulation, soaking wet. His anxiety just was too much. And I was just so shocked, but it was cute. He did it once. Oh, it was. It was a dream. It really was. I loved it. Um I remember we had this speedboat one day, and he took us it was just this one island, this tiny island, and the only thing on it was a restaurant. And we ate there. Then we got back on the speedboat. He would drop, we would be in the middle of the ocean, can't see land anywhere, jumping off, and he would take us to the coral reefs and just swimming around. I never saw not one life jacket the whole time. That's how you know you're young and dumb. But God had us, and so we were definitely living on the edge. And then I remember we jumped off the speedboat and swam to this shore. There was this private beach, and there was a few people on there on the beach. And when we got to the beach, we walked through this forest, and in the middle of the forest was an amazing waterfall right in the middle of the forest. And I remember we jumped into the waterfall, into the pond underneath it. I mean, we didn't even try to touch the bottom. It was so deep, but it was also so cold. It felt like my soul jumped out of my body. It was so cold. But then on the way back, so we were walking back. We had to go back through the forest, walk on across the beach, and then swim back to the speedboat. When I tell you I almost didn't make it, I was like, yo, I'm not strong enough. Hold on. And my husband just couldn't understand that. He was like, come on, Sherry, like, what's up? What's good? What you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can't. I'm too tired. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like, come back for me later. Tell everyone I love them. I don't know. And he was like, not having that. He was not trying to lose his wife on our honeymoon. Just like, I wanted to go snorkeling, of course. I mean, no, scuba diving. I went snorkeling. I do that all the time, but I wanted to go scuba diving. But I had athletic asthma when I played basketball when I was younger. And at that point, I had not had an asthma attack in a long time. So when he was getting scuba lessons, and I was like, I want to do scuba lessons too. And so the man was like, we had to check off on the form like what we didn't have, issues or whatever. And so when I saw the asthma, I was like, like, well, I hadn't had a, and my husband was like, no, no, we not on this honeymoon for me to lose my wife right now. No, no, you can't do it. And I was like, you still gonna do it without me? He was like, yeah, like I want to have this experience too. So I had to wait on the beach while he went with the instructor, and it was just him and the instructor. Because again, where we were, it was no one else. So whatever we wanted to do, it'd be just us and that other person that's taking us or training us. So um, let me see. Yes, for your set them up for mysteries. Yeah, I'm telling you, I have a lot of stories that sound like mysteries and you just don't know where it's going. And luckily, they all end up okay. You're not allowed to scuba dive if you are asthmatic because the pressure. I think either when you go down or come back up can affect your lungs, and if your lungs are compromised because of asthma, you could you know not breathe, lose your breath. So yeah. But I was like willing to take that chance low key because I wanted to do it so bad, but I didn't. And then I just kind of chilled on the hammock on the beach and waited for him to come back. It was wonderful. They had a swim up pool. I mean, a swim up bar. And we all are used to swim up bars in pools, but their swim up bar was in the ocean. And I mean, again, it was just the two of us. So there would be a bartender there. The restaurant, I never saw the restaurant. They just had these little huts that were open, like a gazebo. They just had these gazebos all around. And you just go, and then next thing you know, here comes the waiter. They have this whole board of breads, and they're willing to take your order, letting you know what's on the menu. And it's like they had this lobster pool. It was a rock lobster pool on the property, and you could just how like at Red Lobster they have the tank with lobsters. Well, this was a pool, like a real rock, just off the ocean right there. They could probably get out and get into the ocean if they wanted to. Lobster pool, and you just pick the one you want, and that's the one you get, and they make it for you. And when we were on our yacht cruise, we put a line out on the yacht. He just said the skipper was like, I'm gonna just throw this line out and see what we catch. Sometimes we catch some interesting things. And when we got to the first island, he pulled it up, and it was like a struggle, low key. He pulled it up, and it was a daggone swordfish that he caught, and he made it for us that night. So it was cool. It was really cool. I know. I always was. And our honeymoon was my husband's first time going to a Caribbean island. And that's why I wanted to do something so different and unique. My brothers both had been married just before us. One went to Jamaica for his honeymoon. I've gone to Jamaica many times. The other went to Hawaii. And those are beautiful places to go, but for me and my husband, especially since I had already been to so many different places, and for his first time, I definitely didn't want to go to a place I had already been to, and I wanted to have a great original experience, And so at the time, I worked in Manhattan, and I had reached out to the tourist board in New York, and they sent me this whole big manila envelope filled with trifold brochures on the most interesting islands that I'd never heard of before. And it was so challenging finding a travel agent that even heard of Young Island. My mother was like, please, Sherry, find a travel. Because I was like, oh, I can book this myself. Oh, I got all the information. Thank you, Jaden. It's good. I'm glad you're still here. And my mother's like, no, I feel more comfortable if you have a point of contact here in the States. And so we finally found this much seasoned, older travel agent, and she had booked Young Island one other time in her career for another couple. So she had a little bit of familiarity with it, and she was able to book it for us. So we were glad. Yes, it was very nice to be secluded. And I mean, it was just he and I. Our shower, we had a cottage, and our shower was open ceiling. It didn't have a ceiling to it. Luckily, it didn't rain ever, but it was really cool. I know it. You remember? Yes, she would always say, "My Sherry can do it," but not that time. She was like, "Not going out of this United States. Can you do it?" Oh, were those crabs? Were those crabs? What was that you just threw in there? It was dead fish. Oh, what are you gonna catch with those? What kind of fish? Oh, okay. All right. Hmm. Yeah, it was good that I got an agent for sure. I'm being nosy. They think I'm gonna take their business. You know how if somebody have a business and you asking too many questions, they be like, "What you trying to open one just like this?" I don't know, but I really was curious because it was like this whole cage situation, and he had a lot of stuff in there, and I couldn't see what it was. I didn't want to get too close either. Let me mind my business. Let me make it home safely. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here, rocking with me. I will be back tomorrow. Well, I don't know. It depends on how I am when I wake up in the morning, whether or not I will have a video, but I'll try to do a short. And I might do a community post as well. But I appreciate all the support again. And I hope everyone has a lovely, lovely rest of your Father's Day. Any person that was like a father, I hope you reach out to them and let them know how much you appreciate them. Share some memories, share some stories with them, laugh and, just reminisce. But even just reflecting, if you've lost your loved one that was like a dad, just have those thoughts about them and write some things down, maybe some words of wisdom that they had shared with you over the years. But everyone have a good night and stay safe. I am Coach Sherry.